welcome to the first edition of Journalist Hangout this week. I am Dapo Aruwajoye. Today on the program, amidst recession, Nigeria's House of Representatives take delivery of 3.6 billion naira exotic cars, and troops in massive manhunt for Niger Delta militants. And later on the program, Falana tells federal government to release embattled Sambo Dansuki on bail. I'll be joined by Leko Shote, Tunde Abaton, and Femi Odere. Journalist Hangout starts now. Today, Nigeria's economic life is threatened by recession. Everyone is feeling the heat, but it seems government officials are not. There are reports that members of the House of Representatives have begun taking delivery of 3.6 billion naira exotic Peugeot cars. These cars are to be paid for over a period of 2 years. Surprisingly, the spokesman of the House of Representatives, Abdulrazak Namdez, said the cars will enable members to perform their basic and oversight functions. He was quoted as saying ministers and other officials of the executive arm of government have also bought theirs. But critics say the timing of this purchase shows that government officials are insensitive to the plight of the people. Today, many Nigerians are hungry and thousands are losing their jobs. Are politicians serious about fixing Nigeria at all? And that's a very, very big question. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us again. Today, Abaton, Femi Odere, right?
Well, try not to be nice. Try not to be nice.
Odere.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Femi.
Let us call it the way.
Yes, Odere.
Yes.
And Leko Shote, thank you very much for joining us once again. And let me start with you today. What do you think? Because the way the House of Representatives members are painting this picture, it seems they're just buying these vehicles to help their jobs. What do you think?
Well, I think as much as one will not deny the fact that everybody is working for Nigeria deserves to work for Nigeria in a way that is convenient for him. But at the same time, the attitude of this seventh National Assembly, when you look at it, well, just mention to me any particular bill or law that has been sponsored in the National Assembly that is targeted, aimed at empowering or solving the emergent problem that we have in Nigeria. Just when I was coming here, I read, my son posted something to me from OAU that the lecturers, the ASU people are going on strike.
Wow. Because
of an agreement that was entered 4 years ago with the former government of President Goodluck Jonathan. And governments in Nigeria have an attitude of not honoring agreement. If you keep lecturers in the four walls of the university, those who are responsible for shaping the future of thousands and millions of students, only for you now to come into government now, you refuse to address that issue. You see, no matter how you look at it, no member of the State House of Assembly or National Assembly is a poor person. Because before you get to that particular place, it is assumed that you have passed through a particular level. So the excuse of saying that they are tired of because the import of it is that they are tired of making sacrifice for Nigeria. But the question you ask yourself is that, are they serving Nigerians? If they can be asking for that kind of thing now, are they serving Nigeria? The answer is no. They are not serving Nigeria. They are serving their own personal interest. Because at this point in time, Nigeria is bleeding.
And which is contrary to the agreement they signed. They were meant to sign.
No, I'm not talking of ASU. I am talking of the members of the
members, yes. That's
are they serving
contrary.
Nigeria? The question is that they are not serving Nigeria. They are only after their own collective personal interest. Because taking this kind of money at this particular point in time, it will get to a stage in which Nigerians will stop reading anything positive, anything news that emanates from government, because this one is in bad taste. In whatever level you look at it, if people are crying about the fact that Nigerian government, because they wanted to reduce our dependence on food import, they banned the importation of rice and giving about 2 years for Nigerians to grow rice, which means a bag of rice is now 20,000 naira, and some people are spending about maybe an average of 50 million each. When you multiply it, we have about 400.
10 million. They bought 360.
10 million
so 10
each,
million each.
Which means you have to buy a car for 10 million each. In fact, when I read the report, they were even saying that they prefer the Toyota Camry 2016 edition. but because they were persuaded that there's need to patronize
Made
the
in
Nigerian vehicles. That was why they opted. The question now is that why this point in time?
Why this point in time?
Why this point in time?
Let me feel the pulse of Lekan. What do you think? You
I have mixed. First,
okay.
I congratulate them for buying made in Nigeria or pretend made in Nigeria vehicles. So those things came by CKD, knocked down vehicles, right?
They completely knocked down.
So they just I congratulate them for being, in quotes, patriotic. You know, I also recognize that they need vehicles. I mean, I need a vehicle to do my job, to move around. I understand all that. But to join Tunde, my question is, have these people been working? You understand? I went to check how much is a tokumbo of that vehicle. It's going to between 5 to 8 million.
Tokumbo.
Give or take, yeah. You know. So if you say, well, okay, they chose to buy the one in Nigeria, okay, you know. So I understand that they need vehicles to move around. I mean, I respect that. I understand that, but I'm just worried that these people who have gotten on so much from June 9 last year, after that wobbly proclamation of the National Assembly, we have never gotten on a level kill since then. And this, 10 million, some of them, even though Tunde says they are rich before they go there, some of them were using Tokumbo before they got there. Do you understand what I'm saying? And let them go and buy their Tokumbo, because this is austerity period in Nigeria.
But they can do without any.
To start with.
Yes.
Do you understand? But what I'm saying is that no, they need cars.
They need cars. Don't they have cars?
There's no.
But I thought they were buses meant for these oversight functions.
No, sometimes you go on your own individual visits. For example, maybe you are chairman of, let's say, NEPA, for example, and you have to go to Shidoro Dam. The others won't have to follow you. You have to go on your own. And your members.
But they've not been trekking.
That's what I'm saying. Well,
if it comes to sacrifice, they've not been trekking to the National Assembly.
No, not at all.
So why don't they use the car?
They have been taking their own cars.
Yes.
So my point, and you know what happens is this: the way they do it is that they claim that the cars are bought for you as a committee member or whatever.
Yes.
You know, but you know that the vehicle is your own at the end of the day. So when you are going, you pay a token.
That's
yes.
Do you understand? And then it becomes your own.
Yeah.
Do you understand where you are going? So those who were in the house before them have taken their cars away. Those of them who returned have also taken their cars away. It is assumed that those cars don't exist anymore. So they are going to get another one.
New one.
Do you understand? I would have thought that I know I have worked in government before. I have worked in an office where a vehicle was 9 years old. And what did we do? We removed the engines, put the new engines, and the car was good, and we refurbished, and the vehicles were working.
And maybe you put new tires also.
New tires, and the things were working.
Let me talk to Femi. What do you think, sir? Do you think this is a form of extravagance or it's necessity?
Yeah, thanks, Dapo. Quite frankly, I am surprised that they have not bought those cars by now. And I say that because it is important for us to go down memory lane in the sense that, the Senate bought theirs, quite a long time ago now. Yes. And you recall that not too long after Buhari came into power, and Buhari actually made a public pronouncement about the purchase of those cars, that Nigerians should kick against it, if you remember that. And but Senate, they called his bluff. They called Nigerians bluff, actually, because Nigerians were against the purchase of those cars at that time. They ended up saying that they bought those cars for their principal officers, that they would have bought, they could have bought so many cars,
they actually bought
because of the outcry at that point in time, they still went ahead to buy some cars. So I'm not surprised that the House of Rep are towing the same line, at this point in time. That's why I said, if not because Nigerian eyes are on them, they probably would have bought these cars, a long time ago. Now, having said that, what it speaks to in my own view, is that Nigerians can rile, we can cry about recession, corruption, and all of that. I think the reality now is that our institutions, for the most part, the Senate and the House of Rep, and some other major institutions, they are not interested in all these things that Nigerians are crying about. It is, at the end of the day, the pursuit of their own self-enlightening interest, and that is exactly the reason why they bought this car. So they don't care. They could care less. What is going on, whether or not Nigerians have eaten 2 square meals a day. Because at the end of the day, Nigerians themselves are going to be the people that are going to say enough is enough. And I don't think Nigerians are in that.
Fed up
I don't think they're fed up, because if they're really fed up, these things should not have happened. Right. And the last thing I want to comment.
Can I come to you after this short break, and I'll let you finish your thought, okay? Just stay with us, please. Welcome back. You're still watching Journalist Hangout, and I did interrupt Femi Odere to go on that break, and you were trying to make a point that it is when Nigeria says no, or when they say they're fed up, that's when we get to.
Yeah, I was going to do that, but before I go back into my point, I don't know why you always interrupt me. Last time you interrupted me.
It's not my fault. We just had to go to that break.
I'm just kidding.
Sorry about that.
Yes, that was what I wanted to say then is this. Aside from the morality of it, there's no way anybody will look at it, just like Mr. Patton said. It is not. This is not the auspicious time to do such a thing. Even if we are going to buy cars at the end of the day.
Not now.
But the other thing is, what happened to the money, to the car allowance that they were given as individuals immediately they were sworn in? What happened to that money? So Nigerians should begin to ask questions. And finally, what this really speaks to, really, as far as I'm concerned, is that the Buhari government, in its emergence, has actually opened the can of worms for our people. There is no longer any level of pretense anymore. It is either you are for or against. So we are beginning to know who our people, who our leaders really are at the end of the day.
Who are not.
Yeah, and who are not.
Let me go to today.
Sorry, please.
Okay.
Because there's something we need to point out. If you read the defense of the spokesman, there is a trick word or phrase in that thing that it is going to this car is going to be used for their committee and oversight
function.
Because since Obasanjo days, those kind of things have been monetized. So in order to first get your money that has been monetized, and then now eat your cake and have it
to the other.
You now call it committee vehicle. And almost all of them are chairman of one committee or the other.
So everybody has a car.
Yeah, so this thing is happening on two levels now. First, you are getting a car through monetization, and you are already gotten the loan. Now you are now getting another car, pretense car of the official car, which you and I know that at the end of the day, they will not ask you to, bow and go. Do you understand? You just say, okay, it's not $30, and then you go, and that's the end of that. So they are cheating Nigerians twice, yes. So we need to be quite clear about this. Okay. That these people, they do not think about the interests of the people that they are representing. Rather, they are representing their own pockets, their own personal interests. They don't care what Nigerians even think.
Okay.
And that's worrisome.
All right. So what do you think? People will say maybe we're being harsh here, because you talked about allowances that have been given to these guys. Yeah. Even the Senate collected their own allowances and bought their own cars. And the executive perhaps might have even gotten their own allowances. But these guys are saying, the executive bought their own cars too. So why are we being harsh on the House of Representatives when it's just across all boards?
Well, I think one thing that we have to know is that when you look at the National Assembly, the fundamental error that was committed by the Revenue Mobilization Committee was to allow them to fix any salary for themselves, including allowances. So when there's nobody to check the National Assembly, because if the executive makes an attempt to check now, they will tell you they are interfering in their domestic or internal affairs. But who checks the National Assembly? If you have a National Assembly that has the temerity to fix income, to fix allowances without anybody querying or checking them, then you have this kind of situation.
The Femi was saying it is our responsibility to check them.
It is our responsibility to check them. Unfortunately, too, since after the election of 2015, all the civil society groups have gone to sleep, because this is the function of the society group. Let us begin to, how can you elect somebody that you are incapable of moderating or controlling its activities? Upon all the arms of government, it is the National Assembly that has proven so difficult to control. Only 2 weeks ago, they sponsored a bill that will moderate and control the activities of the Code of Conduct Tribunal, which means it's self-defense. They are trying to protect themselves.
Amongst all bills that are present.
that are steering Nigerians. People have been talking of restructuring Nigerian economy. People have been talking of restructuring the polity.
I have to,
yes, this
I
thing
have
is
to
not
interrupt you also, Coach, to take this caller from Taraba. Good evening. Yes, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
How are you?
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, wonderful. Your contribution, please.
I'm so happy to have you today. My contribution about what is going on in National Assembly is that this thing is too work. What these representatives are doing, we really need we in Nigeria are supposed to go on and protest for these issues, because they are doing what is very so romantic. It's not supposed to be doing like that.
All right.
It is more wide and civilization of this era of change to support our government of the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ayasa, for that contribution of yours.
If I may take us back, you will recall that immediately after President Buhari took over government, without necessarily holding brief for anybody, the first thing they did was to slash their own salaries and allowances. I know the vice president did, apart from declaring their assets openly, the vice president too did that. Some other state governors did that. But why? Let me ask you one question. Mention to me whatever sacrifice the National Assembly have made to show that they are really serving the people of Nigeria.
Maybe because we did not demand for the sacrifice.
Do we have to demand for a sacrifice? Okay, like the head of a family. If your income, if you, God forbid, where you work, you want 500,000 per month, and yes, suddenly they reduce your allowance to 300,000 and salary to 300,000. What are you going to tell your wife when you get home, or your children? But look, this it's not so easy. We have to make a choice. Either I change the school where you are enrolled, so that you can continue to keep the family, or that I reduce the allowance, or that if we are living in a duplex before, we have to go for. But
daddy is still living large.
But daddy is still living large. Maybe he has about 4 cars. So you don't have to ask them. They have to, if they are serving the people of Nigeria, because it's about service.
Yeah, I know. Selfless. Emeka is calling from Onitsha, Anambra. Good evening, Emeka.
Good evening. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I want to chip in something. The problem of Nigeria is now more than just discussing.
So what should we do about it?
The truth of the matter is that there is need for prayers in Nigeria. Nigeria needs deliverance.
We are a prayerful nation already. We pray every day in this country.
Let me tell you something. I know. Let me tell you something. The problem of Nigeria is more than talking and talking and talking. The National Assembly people and the National Assembly people, they are watching you. And as they are watching you, they are mocking what you are talking, what you are saying. They will tell you.
Are you serious?
When I paid the million to get to this position, they'll be laughing, they'll be mocking. All the protests, all the committee of inquiry, all of them, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. We should look inward.
So what do you recommend?
You think we should pray?
How do we look inwards? Yeah, you talked about prayers.
Prayers,
So
yeah.
what else?
I keep on saying, Nigerian problem escalated during First Act 77. I was when Nigerian problem escalated. Nigeria should go back to God. The Islams, they should go back to their whatever. Whosoever, Nigeria should look inward.
Okay.
Because number one, like somebody said there, they cannot allow the Genu people to come up and mount offices. They are blocked everywhere.
Okay.
You cannot go with them. You cannot go against them with gun. You cannot protest. Whatever you do doesn't work. Nigeria need prayer.
Okay, Emeka.
You people should listen.
All right, and Emeka, we're listening, and let me take it to your family. He said we need prayers, and after prayers, I asked him, what do we need? I think Emeka is sticking to prayers alone, because he said the House of Representatives members, they are watching this program and they are mocking us because whatever we are saying here is just passing here and going out of here. Is that true?
I won't be surprised if they're not, I would be surprised that they're not mocking us. I mean, if they're not mocking us, then I'll be surprised.
Yes.
Because how many times has have we talked about things?
Are we
like
sounding
this?
like a broken record?
Of course, and
Yes,
how many of us have written so much about all these things? And has anything changed?
Nothing has
Your last phrase when you were doing the intro that was like, are we a serious people at all? And the unfortunate answer is that we're not. Let us take the issue of this car situation. If they are serious about the condition of Nigerians, the recession, people have not been paid for the past 7 months and all of that. First and foremost, if you must buy vehicles for your so-called oversight functions, must that be cars? Why not minibus? It is not every day that you go out to do oversight functions. Why can't you park yourself inside buses?
You know why I mentioned buses the last time? Because we used to see them whenever you remember the last time they
when we were going to CCT,
they go in buses.
Yes.
I kind of wonder, why are they not going in buses anymore?
Because
the solidarity is not there when it comes to helping
comfortable.
This
it
is a luxury
not
car.
about.
I went to read up about 508.
It's a luxury car.
It's a luxury car. I read about it.
It is not about
it's
what
a serious
Nigerians
car.
are going through, my friends. It is about their own comfort. That is the bottom line. Remember, there's some things that one of the colleagues said in a long time. Senator Biodun Olujimi, she made a statement which I think was very instructive. And what was said that, well, look, before I became a senator, I paid money. I bought people over. So you can just sit around there and be waiting for anything from me to happen. So you're going to be waiting for a long time. And so in other words, that is the mindset in the among all these legislators
That they've paid already.
The reality is that they are paid, before they came in, and the ones that they came in, so it's payback time.
So we are reaping the dividend of our own democracy.
So of
now.
course, that's their. So in other words, what you and I are going through doesn't feature in their own compass at the end of it, and that's the reality. That's the unfortunate reality. We're talking about the civil society and all of that. The corruption that pervades society is just so mind-boggling, and it is just an extension of the corruption that is going on.
Should we stop talking then? Because
no, we can't
saying
stop.
the mocking us. We can't.
We can't just stop talking. But like I said the other time, there are two issues that we have to look at. Number one, between now and 2018, I won't say 2019, we have to revisit the political parties. Because all the members of the National Assembly are agreed on this thing. Have you seen any of them opting out? Either is in PDP, APC, AAA, or AAM. Have you seen any of them individually saying that my party is against this kind of thing? They are all united on the question of luxury, and nobody has turned down his offer.
So that's where unity comes in.
That is where unity comes in.
When they want to share the money.
That if it takes you 5 million naira to collect a nomination form for House of Representatives or 10 million naira, and at the end of the day, to conduct the primary, You spend about 200 million naira. My brother, what do you expect them to go and do?
So you need like
so we have to go back
20 of those cars now.
We have to go back to the political parties. Let the parties work out and be realistic about Nigeria. So before you can come out to say you want to contest, you must have been in the Second Republic. Before you can print any poster, your party, you must have become a candidate of your party. You never hear of aspirants there. Aspirants is within the political party. In other words, it is the political party that will sponsor you the moment you emerge as the candidate of the party. So let us make it less expensive. This is not holding brief for them, but these people, the system have made them, it's only those people who are privileged that can get to that place. Have you ever seen any professor in the real sense of the word that will get to the National Assembly if he has not spent money? Either the godfather will give him money. Where will the professor get money from? Where will the lecturer get money from? So godfather must be somewhere. So what we are saying is that let us go back to the political parties and look at the system of the emergence of these people, these characters.
All right, and when journalist Hangout returns, despite peace talk, our troops are in massive manhunt for Niger Delta militants. Is it likely or highly likely that the crisis will be quelled anytime soon? Please stay with us. Welcome back. Despite an ongoing dialogue between the Nigerian government and the leaders of the Niger Delta region, the Nigerian troops have begun massive deployment of its personnel to the creeks to hunt down militants bombing oil installations in the region. The Niger Delta Avenger says it has resumed bombing of oil installations as a result of the continued presence of troops in the region. The militant group claims that the deployment of the troops undermined recent peace talks between the region's leaders and the government. How soon can we stabilize the region? Let me go to you, Leko. What do you think? Because we heard there was a peace talk of this and everybody went to Abuja. All of a sudden, the next day or 2 days after, bombing of installations again. What's going on?
Dakwa, do you know that song? Pass me not to gentle
Savior, hear my humble cry.
The point is this. You recall that somebody called E.K. Clark has been saying that he's a spokesperson of the Ijaw people. You also recall that some non-monarchs went to Abuja to meet with the government and meet them. And Clark said, oh, they did not inform him. And they said, no, you are our subject. What is wrong with you? Avengers have come. Men that come. Now that they see that government wants to talk, who is good? Because it's all about sharing something at the end of the day. Because I've not heard anybody, I mean, I've heard about, yes, Sarawiwa was talking about environmental degradation. That is one. No, I can't see anybody who is really, truly pursuing that. Apart from, thank God, the Vice President was there to launch Operation Clean Up, sort of, land, yes, you know. But I can't see anybody from the South really advancing this beyond, making it an issue that must be faced. That's one. Two, how about there is now a fund for the northeast of Nigeria. I cannot see, of course, there's Ministry of Niger Delta, there is NDDC, but I cannot see a master plan, an economic master plan for the South. And I don't even hear the South talking about a master plan for us, for our people. Rather, it's, I mean, let me put it this way. Somebody said, 2 weeks ago, was it last week, they were asking for oil blocks.
Yes.
And I was talking to a friend who is from the South side. He said, hey, after all, you can see people from the north, they have their own. People from the southwest, they have their own. So let our people too shop their own.
Not just about chop.
Do you understand? So, and that I really got angry. We quarreled because I said, listen, is it about individuals getting oil blocks or about the entire South getting oil block, getting a serious economic master plan to elevate the poor, to make the place more conducive for farming, for your fishing, and so on? Isn't that what the issue should be? Should it be about oil block? Should it be about forgiving Tompolo? Is that the issue that we're talking about? I think this is a shake-up stage. People are like, let me put, you hear people say that when you are in a company, you must make sure that you are in the decision-making position, so that when they are sharing things, that was why I sang that song. People are positioning themselves for, we see what happened in Boko Haram. We don't even know who to talk to. The same thing is happening in South now. Who is the person to talk to now? Do you understand? So people say, oh, former governor of Old River State, Spiff, who is a monarch now, that his group is preferred to the Clark group. Some people say, look, we don't even want to talk about them. Something justice mandate, green land, and then they are bombing. To show you that we can do damage, you have to relate with us. You have to deal with us. You understand? You have to talk to us. That is the point. And I think the government is getting frustrated. And of course, I think some people have talked about the carrot and stick approach.
And they've given the carrot already.
I remember the former governor of the Delta State, Odoagan, said you have to apply the carrot and stick and I think that's what the government is trying to do these days.
What do you think? Because the way, what it looks like is maybe the militants or the young ones are not being carried along. Or what do you think? Because I seem not to understand why the government is calling you to a round table. Tell us your problem and we'll look into it. Almost immediately you carry up your arms again and start blowing resources that is meant for the common everybody.
You see, Dapo, I look at the Niger Delta situation vis-a-vis the Nigerian society as a very, very unfortunate one, because no government, in my own view, should be put in an extremely weak position to the extent that a non-state actor will hold an entire government and its people into ransom, and the government is unable to do anything about it, Two wrongs will never make it right. We all know that. The people of the South have been shortchanged, over the years. But again, you've got a situation now where Nigerian governments are beginning to come back into their senses to redress some of these situations that they caused in the South. But the fact of the matter now is that it is open that it is not all about development as far as these guys are concerned. It is that, well, because they've already said it. We want you to leave our guys alone.
Yes.
If you are going to pursue your corruption game, leave our guys out of it. Don't touch them. Since you didn't allow Jonathan to come back the second time, then we are going to tell you how far you can go. And if you are not willing to do that, then we have the oil installations to bomb.
And we hold everybody to ransom.
And they are doing that. No government anywhere in the world should be put into the type of situation that the Nigerian government, was put into.
So you're saying the government has tried enough? Be patient.
I'll be very careful to say that they have tried enough, but the government is emerging from doing nothing to doing something. And the organic cleanup environment is a case in point. It's a big departure from what previous Nigerian governments, have been trying to do. So that in and of itself should be looked at as an article of faith, And so when you begin to bomb oil installation, the single most important asset that binds the economic well-being of an entire Nigerian people together, then it is very, very unfortunate. Then I would say that the carrot and stick approach should be maintained.
Okay.
Because they have already come out that it is not about their own collective development. Right. It is about their own share, and if they're not going to get it, then they're going to be there. The government should go after them.
Should come tough.
Yeah.
All right, then. Thank you so much. We need to go on that short break, and when we'll come back, we'll continue the discussion. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Moving on, human rights activist and a senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, has advised the federal government to release the former National Security Advisor, Sambo Dasuki, as ordered by the Court of Justice of the Economic Community of West Africa states, that's ECOWAS. Falana argued in a statement issued in Lagos yesterday that this has become necessary to allow Dasuki to enjoy his human right to liberty within the context of bails granted him by the trial court. We're going to leave, we're going to conclude on that, but because of time, let's just go straight to Dasuki. Okay. Because I think the Niger Delta militants then were saying they should release Dasuki also. But now Femi Falana is saying we should release Dasuki because this is tantamount to, I think I have to go to you, this is tantamount to human rights abuse also.
Well, I think when we look at it from the nexus of law, yes, Falana may be right to some extent. But when we look at it from the fact that you recall that initially when Dasuki was charged and arrested, when the president was asked that question, he threw the question back to the journalist that, do you want me to release somebody who is threatening the very security of Nigeria? He gave the same answer to the person who asked him to release Nnamdi Kanu. I think the problem with the detention of Dasuki is beyond what you and I know. Because if it is a question of law, there's no way, it's only somebody who commits murder that cannot be released in Nigeria.
But the federal government should tell us, because
the federal government should come on the board. I think it is something beyond the issue of law that you and I know. If it is not beyond it, then there's no reason whatsoever. So far, the man's passport has been seized. The man cannot travel out of Nigeria. Anyway, the whole world knows, if the man should escape, that this man is somebody who is undergoing trial in Nigeria. But my fear is that there are some other reasons which the federal government will not want to tell Nigerians. This perhaps explains the reason why they have refused to listen to the Court of Appeal, Supreme Court, and the West African Court. So I think the federal government should come out and tell Nigerians some other germane reasons that is behind this man. Probably he will remain the chief principal witness for as long as the trial of those people who are involved in the $15 billion remains. If it's going to be the principal suspect, well, under the law, I don't know whether it is permissible to also lock him up. I don't know whether it is permissible to.
You're saying that maybe there are reasons, enough reasons, why the federal government is not releasing Dasuki. And maybe there are reasons, maybe Dasuki case is another reason why the United States is refusing to sell us Super Tucanos and even Chinook helicopters.
As a matter of fact, Falana alluded to that.
Yes.
You see, first, Dasuki his house was searched, and then they found guns in his house after his term expired. Now, you shouldn't be surprised if a colonel has a gun in his house. You should also not be surprised if a former national security advisor has a gun in his house. Okay? Because that is actually what they are pursuing. However, by picking him up, they are making him to talk about people that he has given money to. I'm trying to go along today's thinking.
Submission.
You understand that they are using him as a trump card. You understand, or like a pawn to get at some things. Let me tell you something. I think we said this on this platform.
Can I interrupt you? Because I think he has to go across all boards now. I've interrupted him and him also.
Okay.
And now I have to interrupt you, take a book for motion. Good evening, Ibuku.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. You're live, Ibuku. We're listening to you. Your contribution.
Gosh.
Ibuku, are you there?
Used to be, walking the talking. We need to walk our talk. We've been talking a whole lot to all these people. I like to make my comment on the first topic.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, we're listening.
Hello?
Yeah, we're listening to you, Boko. Just keep on talking, we're listening. What's your submission, your contribution?
Oh, I think we lost him.
I think we lost him. Okay, I did interrupt you. Sorry
Yeah,
about
I
that.
was saying that we've seen it on this platform once, and I think I remember saying what I'm about to say now, that in civil law or criminal law, they will tell you, under the British system, common law that we have inherited, they will tell you that you are innocent
You're proving good.
until proven guilty by the state. But when it comes to a matter of security issue, they adopt the French
Pattern.
template, yes, which says you are guilty until you prove yourself innocent. Do you understand? And I think that's the issue that Colonel Dasuki is facing right now. As Tunde has said, they have told us that, well, they found guns in his house and he could go to jail for a long time for that. I remember watching another station, and they were making comments, and the person who was reading the news was saying something like that, that if he is found guilty for arms found in his house, he will go to jail for a long time, you know. So that is like something that they are holding him for. But the funny thing is that they are not quite prosecuting him
For
that particular offense.
2.0.
Do you understand? But they are making him sing, talk about all the people that got money through him,
Implicate.
and implicate people. And I think they are successful at that, even though nobody has quite been convicted. But they tell us that some people are paying money, that are refunding money. Abi, isn't so?
Yes.
So I like to think that they have not. I just read, was it Punch or Watch Paper today, cover page, $175 million
Found
in the account of
the former
do you
First
understand?
Lady.
So who knows whether, even if it's not directly from Dasuki, whether it's also from some people who are related to him, who are in the same soup with him, that they are revealing some of this information.
So you think the federal government has got a right to keep Dasuki?
According to by law,
According to
by law, the man has competently met
Yeah,
the
that's
conditions
Okay.
to get his bail.
Okay.
Do you understand? I'm saying now that the government is probably now not applying
That particular thing.
that particular. They are looking at the security aspect now, which
Which
means
is
you
not
are
known to all of
guilty
us.
until
Until
you
you
put
prove
yourself
yourself
guilty. I mean, innocent.
not guilty, okay.
You know, so that's the thing.
Okay, what do you think? Because some people have been saying that this is a matter of witch hunting. Because if you look at the antecedents of Dasuki, it's like
And
Buhari is paying back what Dasuki did to him many
right.
years ago.
That's right.
Is that what it seems to you?
Well, it doesn't seem to me that way, for the simple reason that if Datsuki had not been picked up, we would not have known the amount of money that had gone down the drain just because of that. You see, one needs to be very careful as how to look at these things. Human rights of every human being is very important. There's no question about that. You don't necessarily have to be a human rights activist for you to actually defend anybody's human right. But we have a situation in our hands in this situation. In the case of Dazuki, Dazuki is a star witness. And I'm not a lawyer and I'm not in government either, but I don't see, what if Dazuki is released, on bail? What if he escapes? Don't let us forget that we have close to 1,500 illegal borders in this country.
Porous ones.
Porous borders.
And we've seen people escape before. Dressed as women.
Yeah,
Can I quickly take a soul from Kaduna? Hamed, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you very much for
Thank
the
you also.
job well done.
Thank you.
This issue of somebody Suki, the former national security advisor and the federal government, I think the president has been advocating about law and order and respect for law and so on. I think it's about time he shows that he should also start respecting the law, maybe by leading by example so that others will follow the line. You see, someone, when he advocates for law somewhere else, someone might use this and say that even the president or the federal government are not obeying court order or something. And the issue of security, if security says you are guilty until proven innocent, then what are the security charges against him? They are charging him for the case of corruption. We still haven't had any tangible, maybe a court case in court that these are the security threats that the Suki is in. It's not in court. Most of the cases are about corruption and money laundering. So I think it's either they come out publicly and tell us maybe how dangerous he is or what they are after, or they should allow him the bail, maybe house arrest or something.
Okay.
So this is denying him fundamental human rights, and which is not, I think, to my own point of view, it's not good for our law.
Right, Ahmed, thank you so much. As we conclude now, your conclusion, please.
About the Dazuki
issue.
I without trying to
you're saying
discount
house arrest is not bad.
Without trying to discount his fundamental human right, we have a national emergency in our hands, and what he did borders, in my own estimation, on national security. Because a corruption of that magnitude affects national security. So it should be kept, I think it should still be kept.
All right,
but the government should let the people know why
they're keeping it.
I think I agree with him, because if he had not been arrested, perhaps something evil could have happened in Nigeria. For somebody who has that kind of money
and
power, he can do anything. We are talking of $15 billion. That is enough. It's enough budget for about 5 or 10 countries in Africa.
It can make or my country. What do you think, Lino?
I'm worried about America coming at us from two points. You know, you're talking about human rights, and then you are now saying because of that you will deny us arms. You know, something is wrong. Section 45 of Nigerian law, Constitution says that from section 30 to 44 or thereabout, gives you a slew of human rights. But by the time you get to 45, it says, however, these human rights can be withdrawn from you under certain circumstances. And I think that is what is playing out right now.
So America should think twice.
America should think twice. We don't, because they are speaking from both sides of their mouth now. They don't want terrorism.
Yes.
And then they are also now saying another thing, you know.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Lekon Shota.
Thank you very much.
Tunda Abato. Thank you so much. Femi Odere. I would never miss the pronunciation of that name.
Please don't.
Femi Odere. Lovely. Thank you so much. And for those that have called today, thank you so much. And that's all on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of our program. And watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I am Dapo Aruajoy. Bye for now. God bless Nigeria.